This is Scott Wehrle, and I can't wait for you to hear his story and what God has done in his life and your whole family and your daughter, Jessica. She was baptized on Easter Sunday, but before we get to that, talk to us about growing up, because that kind of weighed on you because you weren't really in church.
Absolutely. I grew up in church, but when my parents passed away, I kind of fell out of church. I was angry about both of them passing away, and so it was hit or miss whether I'd go to church. When my children were born, I did feel more of an obligation to try and take them to church, but again, it was just hit or miss and never really found one that satisfied me. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't very good about bringing my children up in the church.
So then Jessica graduates high school and moves away.
Well, we moved here.
You
right?
moved here, and she's in Iowa, and this is weighing heavy on you.
Oh yeah, for literally decades it weighed heavy on me that I did not do a good enough job raising them in the church.
Stop right there. That's just, I think that's a lot of parents need to feel that, because some people have raised their kids in church, but there are plenty that come to core church and they didn't, and they have so much regret and the weight and the shame and guilt that comes from that. But there is no guilt and condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. So you came here after decades of that weighing on you.
Right.
And then you started praying for her.
Absolutely. My wife and I started attending core church. We were looking for a church nearby. We had been celebrating down in McAllister with our in-laws, and that's quite a journey. So we wanted to find one that was closer. And actually, with Hannah was the one that had suggested core church. So I said, hey, let's give it a shot. And I'll be honest, I walked in here, saw the big screen, and it was like, oh, I don't want to make a church.
That we are not.
That you are not. Far from it. And so obviously we were very pleased with the message and the service and how welcoming everybody was. Uh-huh. I mean, the first person to welcome us was Laura. And it was like, it just kind of blew my socks off that somebody would take that time to just, hey, you're a new face. How are you? I'm Laura. My husband's Brad. What brought you to core church? All of that. So my daughter comes down 2-3 times a year. And when she's down here, we usually try to attend. She comes here. She likes coming here.
You put
also.
her name. So stop right there for just a second. And what I want people to hear, though, is that you actually, through prayer, we have these prayer cards that people fill out. You start putting her name on prayer cards and praying intensely for her salvation and her baptism.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So then she comes down from Iowa. It's Easter Sunday. Walk us through this moment.
So it's Easter Sunday. I brought some of my other family members here. Jessica is sitting next to me. We had the scheduled baptism. You had the open call for baptism. Jessica looks at her older sister and says, I think I'm going to do that. And then she turns to me and says, is it okay? And I'm like, absolutely, absolutely. You don't know how much I've been praying for this.
Oh,
and so
man. Is it okay?
Is it okay? And I'm stunned. I mean, in retrospect, it's like, oh, I should have gone up there with her and, the whole 9 yards, but I'm just like stunned.
Yeah.
I feel honestly like a new dad. I mean, talk about rebirth and Christ. I feel like a new dad. The Leonards are sitting in front of me. Brian turns around, shakes my hand, says, congratulations. Kelly comes over to me, gives me a big hug. I'm in tears. I can't even get it together. And then I finally get out to the aisle, get a video of it, and it was a wonderful day. It's the best Easter I've ever had.
I would imagine next to her birth, it might be the best day you've ever had with her.
Absolutely, absolutely. And went down and shared the video with family on Easter. We were exhausted though. Emotionally, we were just exhausted, but it was a great day. We are still texting back and forth about that day, and what a wonderful day it was.
Wow. I mean, that is the miracle working power of our God. A dad, and I'm a dad who will not stop praying. I want to tell you, don't give up on your kids or your friends or your mom or your dad or anybody. Just keep praying. Thanks for sharing.
Absolutely.